So here we have the small intestine model or the intestinal villi model. Each of these big cones is called a villus. The plural is just villi, so you can use either name for villus or villi for all of them. The small intestine itself is made up of several layers, starting with the mucosal layer. From this red muscle layer up to the villi is called the mucosal layer. Under the mucosal layer is the submucosal layer, which is all this pink. Under the submucosal layer is the muscularis externa, or external muscle layer. And the final layer is this pink layer called the serosa. We need to know the structures inside the small intestines themselves. We have just the capillaries where a lot of your nutrients get absorbed. However, fats, because they're too big, get absorbed through this yellow gland called the lacteal gland. The tissue making up the mucosal layer is called the lamina propria. So all these spaces in between. And here we can see an intestinal crypt. This intestinal crypt just increases the surface area for your small intestines to absorb. But here we can see an enlargement of the crypt, where we see three types of cells. First is just the columnar epithelium. There's a couple names for these. It's just the normal cells that you can see here. They're either called columnar epithelium or intestinal epithelium. Here we can see a big blue circle in this cell, same thing on this side. This is called a goblet cell. This secretes mucus. And finally, we have these red dotted cells are called the Paneth cells. These have an immune system function. Now we'll come look at the muscularis externa. You'll notice that the mucosal layer also has its own muscle layer. And then each muscle layer itself has two more muscle layers. You can see there's one where there are long lines, and there's ones that are circles. The circular ones, and it's a little confusing, are called longitudinal muscle layer, even though they're circles. And then the long ones are called circular muscle layer. So just remember it's opposite for the muscle layers, where we have longitudinal, these circles, muscle layers, and circular muscle layers, which is the long lines. Last thing we have is these are nerve plexuses. Since our muscle does need nerves to be controlled, we have two nerve plexuses for each layer of muscle. This one inside of the muscularis externa is called the aurobox or myenteric nerve plexus. And this one in the submucosal layer is very nicely named the submucosal nerve plexus. There's also another name called the Meissner's nerve plexus. A few extra stuff that you need to know is these are just arteries, these red circles. And this is just adipose tissue, some fat.